Good morning, guys. The weight is the same as yesterday, and the shape is better than yesterday, so that's a good thing. And you can see the face is starting to sink in even more. It's a good sign. It means water and fat are being lost. I've also been drinking more water. So yesterday were 9 bottles of my shaker cup, which is about 850 mils per shaker. So, that's like 7 liters or so. So I'm going to be drinking that every single day, slowly ramping it up as I get closer to the show. And then I'll also tell you guys how I'm going to manipulate the water near the end of the show, of the prep. So right now it's time for cardio, and then I have a breakfast. And it's a rest day today as well, because I was thinking yesterday, well, I'm going to wake up and judge whether my body is, in need of a rest or another workout. But I feel like today is better to take a rest day, maybe get a massage in if that's possible. And other than that, just get some work done on the laptop, coaching, nutrition plans, my YouTube videos, stuff like this. So let's get the day started. Right, gonna be doing some cardio here, 4,000 to 5,000 steps. As you can see in the air, it can be quite a rainy day today. It actually did rain here before, but in Aruba that never takes long. But it's still possible that it'll happen. So anyway, this is the sea at the beach, and the sun is shining. So not a bad way to do your cardio in the morning. So one of the benefits of being in a country like Aruba with the sun is that you can actually get a tan, a natural tan on your skin. So we're here for 2 weeks, and every single day I'll be in the sun getting a darker and darker natural tan, and that won't affect definition in the slightest in terms of negativity. It will positively influence it, because the less tan you have to put on afterwards, the thicker that layer is, the worse it would be for the actual definition showing. You have guys like James Hollingshead and Ian Valliere who both say, because they're so pale, because they don't have a tan, they have to put on so much tanning that sometimes it actually messes up with their true conditioning. So they look even more conditioned pale than with a stage tan. So the goal here is to get a natural tan, so the actual stuff you have to put in your skin to be even darker is thinner, allowing for better definition to show, because the conditioning is going to be very great on stage, and I don't want to diminish it by putting a thick layer of tanning on there. So getting a natural tan is definitely something I recommend for every bodybuilder to do. Look at that, beautiful breakfast with the kiwi. Don't worry, it's still here. So what do we have here? We have the good old breakfast, but it's a rest day, so you might think, well, is it different? Well, a little bit, but the calories are pretty much the same. It's 30 grams of cream of rice, 20 grams of oatmeal, so that's the carb source. We have 125 grams of liquid egg whites, 50 grams of whey isolate, 100 grams of blueberries and raspberry mixture, Himalayan pink salt, and chocolate. You see the beautiful delicious chocolate, 15 grams of 100% dark chocolate. Let's enjoy this meal. Adding some celery to it. So what we have here is a pan filled with zucchini. I'm gonna add some celery to it, and trust me, using a sitter, way easier. Stir it up. Black pepper. Oregano, Himalayan pink salt, You can see it's quite a lot because I can handle it, and it's hot here, and I'm sweating a whole lot. So as you saw, zucchini and celery, just vegetables, and a protein source, a codfish, 250 grams. It's in a microwave right now. It's already cooked, so I'm just warming it up. And I'm going to combine it, and that's the meal. No fat source, no carb source. In the morning we had a carb source, we had a fat source, both of them. Carb source was cream of rice and oats. The fat source was the dark chocolate. That's it. And now we're just going to have a carbless meal and a fatless meal. However, after this, that meal will change a little bit. So first let me show you this meal, and then we'll head to the next. Okay, so this is it. The second meal of the day. Just a protein source and a vegetable source. Nothing else. Tiny bit of ketchup there, which turns out to be 5 calories added to this meal, which is nothing. We have some salt, we have some pepper, we have some oregano as herbs, and the rest is, you know, it's pretty delicious, to be honest. And I love the vegetables. That just tells you how deep in prep you are. But anyway, let's enjoy this and see you at the next meal. Okay guys, next meal. This one right here. At the bottom you see some tuna. We have a little bit of spinach. We have some zucchini. We have some celery. And a tiny bit of onion and bell pepper mixture. And we also added half an avocado here. So in this there is a fat source. So there's tuna, which equates to about 55 to 60 grams of protein. And we have about 200 grams of vegetables in total, half an avocado, so it's a protein, vegetable, and fat source. The amount of fat is about 10 grams that will be added to this meal, but nonetheless, avocado is a healthy fat source, also contains potassium, which is important to replenish the lost electrolytes from sweating so much in Aruba. Let's enjoy this meal and keep working on the laptop. All of those emails need to be answered. Alrighty, so this meal will once again be a vegetable and protein meal. No fats added, but what I do is I then take 3 omega-3 capsules and 2 krill oil capsules during the meal that there's no fat. So in the morning there's a fat source. Then there's one meal without a fat source after that I don't take any supplements with, but I do take my omega-3s in the morning as well. But then I have a meal after that, the third meal that you just saw with the avocado has a fat source. This doesn't have a fat source, so I add a supplement fat source, so I still get the essential omega-3 fatty acids. And then after this I have 2 more meals, but they both already have fat sources, so that's the big difference. So there's only one meal in the entire day that doesn't have any fat at all, nutrition-wise or supplement-wise, food-wise. So let me show you what this exactly is. So what we have is some broccoli, so a different kind of vegetable this time. Again, some celery, because I like to, as I mentioned in the previous video, or it might even be this video, because I just want to get used to having the celery in my system, so I'm not going to react strangely to it. And it expels water, so near the few days I'm gonna put some celery in my loading meals, like rice with celery or rice with asparagus, for example. Not too much, but it has a minimal effect, and a minimal effect is what it's all about in a bodybuilding stage of the Olympia. Minimal things, the details, they matter. Then we have 2 cans of this tuna, and this actually has about 25 to 30 grams of protein. And it kind of depends, but I'm actually going to measure it right now, so I'll tell you exactly how much protein is in these little cans. Okay, so we have about 267 grams of this tuna. Now, the amount of grams you see here is also with some water, but on the back of the can they say, well, the net weight is this much, and per 56 grams there's 10 grams of protein. But then you don't know if they use the pure dry weight or with a bit of water added, because no one can squeeze literally every single drop of water out of this. So let's just say, after a calculation, this is about 48 grams of protein, or you might just well say 50 grams of protein in these salads. Now this adds like 3 or 4 grams of protein, but we don't count that. So it's just going to be 50 grams of protein in salads with the tuna, so that's exactly enough. I like to have about 50 grams of protein in meals like this. That's enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Alright, this is the meal. Looks very tasty, right? The tuna never looks good, but it tastes actually pretty good if you salt it, pepper it, put some garlic powder in there, some oregano, and of course the vegetables, and a little bit of the ketchup again. And I calculated the calories actually of today, and I'm only slightly above, I think 2300, 2400. So I'm going to show you of course at the end of the video, but it's quite low on an off day. But in the meantime, watching some bodybuilding and bollocks, one of my favorite podcast shows, and will be awesome to also be in a podcast with Fuad, and maybe that'll happen soon. Okay, taking a walk here in one of the busier spots in Aruba. As you can see, lots of stores. You, for example, have a lot of American establishments here, like a TJ Fridays. Of course, you have the McDonald's, you have the Taco Bells, the Pizza Huts, etc. But it's always nice to walk somewhere where there's a lot to see. Time flies a lot quicker then. This is pretty much a big mall. So I'm, gonna check it out and show you the meal after this. 2 more meals to go. And, energy's low, but at the same time, it's still high enough to do all of this. So I'm very appreciative of that fact. Anyway, see you soon at the apartment. Okay, just got back home and now it's time for the 5th meal of the day. As I mentioned before, this is a protein meal with a fat source because it's a salmon meal. One of my favorite meals, and salmon is pretty much my favorite fish. Tastes amazing, especially when you prepare it correctly. So here it is, right there. Now the white stuff looks pretty funny, but that's because I already prepared this at home. It's sous-vide cooked already. So the white stuff is a little bit of the water that was seeped out, and the white stuff is actually not fat, it is protein. So that's why I'm keeping it in, and actually won't bother me in the meal at all. Beneath this is skin on the salmon, so I'm baking it on the skin and flipping it around real quick. The green stuff is parsley, also put some pepper on there and some salt. And now let me show you the vegetables. Alright, so these are the vegetables, some healthy greens, and they all are water expelling and natural diuretic vegetables. So we have celery and asparagus, a very good mixture. Added some salt, added some pepper, and we're gonna add some of this ketchup, but actually I added half water to this ketchup for the bottom to be dissolved as well. So now this is even less calories per 100 grams, yet the flavor is still pretty much the same, especially when you're in prep. You don't care, as long as there's a bit of flavor in there, it's good enough. So now I'm gonna use about 20 to 25 grams because the added water reduces the amount of calories it is per serving. So more, actually lasts longer that way, and you can actually have more sauce, even though the calories are the same as less sauce before. So I'm gonna add the salmon to this, which looks like this. That's awesome. You can see the skin. I baked it on the skin, and once that's done, you turn it around, you turn off the gas, and you just let it sit there, making it nice and warm and perfect. So let's enjoy this meal. Okay, it's time for the next meal. What you see here is an egg carton. And I have a lot more of these, as you saw in the grocery video yesterday. But these are lower quality eggs. So what you don't want to do is take the egg yolk from this egg, because as you're going to see, the egg yolk will be very yellow and pale. And wait 1 minute. These are high quality eggs. You see the difference? The shell's much harder, they're brown eggs, they're bigger, they're healthier. So I take these two as the egg yolk source, and then the rest as the egg white source. And I need about 350 grams of egg whites. So I'm gonna crack all of these eggs, including this pack as well, until we get to that amount, and then make the scrambled eggs basically. And that's gonna be it for the meal. So let's get it done. So you can actually see here that the egg yolks are a lot more deep and less pale and orange, which means there's more vitamins in there, like vitamin A, just a more healthy egg yolk, which is why I use the egg yolks from those eggs and the other eggs I use the egg whites. Now let's mix it up and put it in the pan. You can see this pan isn't clean. There's actually still some salmon oil from the previous meal in there, which I use as the baking oil, because still the macros of the entire salmon were included in the day, and there's some left in the pan. Might seem strange to some people, but this is actually something that can be used and utilized for the meal right after. Okay guys, ready to eat the final meal of the day. This is 350 grams of egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and 20 grams of thinned ketchup, so that's an extra 5 calories, and I added Himalayan pink salt throughout as well. So I'm gonna eat this meal and then go straight to bed, because I want to make it more of a habit to go to bed earlier, sleep a bit longer. That also helps with actually burning fat. So if you're in prep, for example, I'm not saying I am right now, but it always helps. The longer you sleep, obviously up until a point of at least 8 hours of sleep, will help you burn fat. Fluid balance in your body will be better, so you will actually look better. So if you hold any water or fat, you have no idea how to get rid of it, and you've tried a lot of things, take a look at your sleep. So that's important. Today was a rest day. It was all about resting up. Still getting my steps in, which is doing some work on the laptop, not really doing much else, and eating my meals. So we're now at 2 weeks out. So from tomorrow onwards, that's really going to be serious, guys. Then we're less than 2 weeks out. Things are getting closer. They're dialing in. So yeah, see you again tomorrow. Thank you a whole lot for watching. And don't forget to stay good.